Thanks so much for the sort of one puzzle, one challenge that you're facing around creating a repeatable, scalable advice process that doesn't lose its soul. I love that question. And I think you should just like lean into that tension. You may not be able to resolve that tension, to be honest. Maybe there are certain things you do that don't scale. And I love that. Love that. We've really worked hard at that. Like, it doesn't really scale for me to be answering questions like this, does it? But I love it. And I hope that it's valuable, and we found ways to do me at scale. Like, even in this process, I'll take the link here and I'll put it in ClickUp. I didn't go into any emails. I didn't see anything. Your note was in Click. Like, we've found ways to make this scalable, but it's not infinitely scalable. You know what I mean? It's not scalable by definition. So I would just ask some questions. Is scale important? What does it mean to scale? Sometimes we just accept this because it's like what all the cool kids run around saying. And I think there's something important here. So I'm just saying, live in that tension of both. I love the idea of thinking about what could be done by non-advisors. What part of the intake process? I remember when I went to the orthodontist, he was a friend of mine. His name was Jeff, Dr. Jeff. And I went, and there was all this pre-stuff that happened, like looking at my teeth, filling out paperwork. He was not around for any of it. He showed up for like 7 minutes, and he was gone. And then I realized, like, I was suddenly in a meeting talking about pricing, and he wasn't even there to talk to me about pricing. Wasn't even there. I was like, hey, where did Jeff go? And they're like, oh, he's not involved in this. I'm not suggesting that pricing is not a discussion the advisor should have, or the pre-work. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just simply saying, pushes the edges of that. Think about it. What does the advisor need to do? I love that. Just keep like, the one thing I would suggest is be very intentional about experiment design around finding answers. Like, how could you design a small experiment? How could you test something instead of thinking about massive scale? I mean, what I would do is I would just start recording client meetings and coming up with a first meeting discovery meeting process that's outlined and scripted, and then have all your advisors do that, and then see what you have to do to tweak and change it. But treat it like a play. I think the first meeting should be treated like a play. And then at some point it becomes an improv play. And remember that one of the things that separates you from everybody else is that if somebody wants to go there for 20 minutes, you're going to create the space for them. And that's going to be massively valuable. And that value can be captured. I think that's beautiful. So thanks for caring enough to think about these kind of questions. Cheers.